close to 3,000 people lining up. We plucked a little bit of Thailand and brought it into Guam, and it's the property secret weapon.
Ready to step into the world of luxury hotels? Welcome to the Hotel Leaders Podcast. Whether you're an industry insider, a student of hotel management, or simply curious about the world of hotels, this podcast is your backstage pass to the heart of the hotel industry. I'm your host, Peter Demore. I have a fascination for the hotel industry, and over the last quarter of a century, I have studied it, been a hotel manager, and as general manager of a hotel school, have passed the torch to the next generation. Now, as part of an emerging hotel industry tech startup, I am independent from any specific hotel or chain and able to talk about the industry with a balanced perspective and a certain level of expertise. It's time to check in. Huffa a day and welcome to episode 15. Today we're travelling to the tropical island of Guam in the heart of the Pacific, and we'll be exploring the Dusit Thani Guam Resort. The hotel opened 10 years ago, and we have a very special guest today, Mr. Takehiro Ito, who served as the pre-opening Director of Sales and Marketing. Take and I have been friends for more than a couple decades. He's a highly respected hotel executive with expertise leading the sales and marketing for hotels and hotel groups across Australia and overseas, including Thailand, China, Dubai, and of course, Guam. Guam is back in business as a tourist destination after a few tough years due to the COVID pandemic and then a typhoon in 2023. It has now regained its title as one of the top tourist destinations in the Asia Pacific. Guam is a unique environment being perched above the Mariana Trench, the deepest part of the world's oceans. It has some of the best coral and dive sites on the planet. I can't wait to share this episode with you. Here we go! Joining me today is my very good friend, Takehiro Ito, Take for short, who served as the pre-opening Director of Sales and Marketing at the Dusit Thani Guam Resort. Welcome, Takehiro.
Thank you, Peter. And half a day. That's hello in Chamorro language. It's somewhat similar to aloha in Hawaiian. It is an absolute pleasure to be here with you and talk about my experience with Dusit Thani Guam Resort, a property that holds a special place in my heart.
Awesome. Let's start by talking about some of the basics. So for those who may not know, what makes this hotel such a standout property?
Fun fact about Guam, it's about 3.5 hours south of Tokyo and 2 to 2.5 hours east of Philippines and Taiwan. It is U.S. territory, but one of the furthest port or airbase out of the U.S. mainland. Dusit Thani Guam Resort is they were built back in 2014, and it's very unique because one of the main things that they wanted to accomplish was to incorporate rich Thai hospitality heritage and to combine that with the half-a-day spirit or hospitality way of looking after their clients in Guam. The hotel is located in the center of Tumon Bay, which is right smack in the middle of where all the duty-free shops are, where malls are, and where the strip has 10 properties that's known to be a hotel strip in Guam, including so there's spas, there's dining option, and when the property opened, they were able to bring in state-of-art conference facility in as well as the property and beautiful dining options.
It's a fantastic resort, a luxurious resort. And definitely the blending of cultures sounds fascinating. I know Thai hospitality is second to none. How did your role as Director of Sales and Marketing tie into promoting that unique identity?
Mm. Look, Guam did not have new opening for 19 years, and look, having opening a new property after 19 years, the hype from local was really, 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 really high, and I guess people wanting to the local people who trying to wanting to accept that Thai hospitality into their local way of looking after clients, and the clients who are visiting from overseas to try that mixture of Thai hospitality as well as half a day way of looking clientele was something that we really, really wanted to push out. So that was on the leisure side to incorporate Thai essence, hospitality essence into looking after clients, and business side where Guam's much anticipated convention center that could cater up to 1,000 plus people. This is what Guam was missing, where Hawaii had a massive convention center where they can look after 4,000 people. 3 hours north, Tokyo, 15,000 people. And in order for Guam to welcome this 1,000 plus guests in one go, was they just have to have convention center, and that's part of opening of Dusit Thani Guam was all about.
That's incredible. And I mean, it must have created so many opportunities in Guam as well, in terms of not just for the hotel itself, but for the broader community. And obviously, Guam is a growing market for tourism, but not without its challenges. What were some of the key strategies that you implemented to stand out in this competitive tourist or tourism environment?
Hmm. Like you said, Peter, it's for the locals to be part of this opening was a huge thing. Where I remember we prior to opening, we had this employment fair, and we had close to 3,000 people lining up to see what it is that they can get involved. Of course, construction team being aside, but people who were involved in hospitality for majority of their life. So that was really good to see people on the interest into the property. Again, bringing in all to balance to get a good balance of leisure and business was something we really really wanted to accomplish on the leisure side pre-COVID, obviously, but there was a huge interest coming in from Japan, South Korea, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and from Philippines, and of course from the local domestic perspective, mainland US. Was There's obviously a flight coming in from Hawaii, so that was one of the major markets that we looked into. And again, looking into leisure as well as corporate was something we wanted to accomplish. And from the F&B perspective, to make sure that we reach out to local communities as well as clientele who tend to stay who does stay in other properties, but to make sure that we capitalize from them coming into a property.
As a bit of a side question, obviously,
Hmm.
Guam, there's a lot of comparisons between Guam and Hawaii, for example, both areas where the residents, um, I guess, are US citizens. So it's got that big US connection there. But what are some of the differences between Guam and Hawaii? How did you differentiate, or how did the team differentiate your market from
Hmm.
the Hawaiian market?
Look, I think there's no better way to say it. Hawaii has established their position as the destination itself. Hawaii itself is destination, especially from the I am Japanese by trade. Um, they have marketed into many parts of or many feeder market as luxurious destination where they are still holding that title. um, Guam was a little bit more conservative in that, but I guess in terms of infrastructure, where those feeder markets, wholesalers and travel company has invested a lot in terms of buses, in terms of tour guides and whatnot, where Guam has done that maybe about 20 years behind pace. But what the nature got to offer out of Guam. Beaches, beautiful ocean, a lot of places to scuba dive. I'm a keen golfer, so golf course. There's a lot of beautiful golf courses, and especially the locals. They're such hospitable. And when I moved there, my elder daughter, now 10, she was about 3 months old, and people were so accommodating to us. Where they just watched her while my wife and I went for a quick swim. So it just showed local people how hospitable they are, and yeah, that just Guam stands for their identity. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, look, it sounds like it's got a wonderful island identity, great people.
Mm.
Um, and also the strategy that you talked about previously as well, a great strategic approach in terms of the hotel and how you're positioning things. Let's talk a little bit about the guest experience. So, Dusit Thani has a
Yeah.
reputation for exceptional service. How did you and your team maintain that standard or set in place what would maintain that standard?
Mhm. I think, like you said, Peter, Thai hospitality is well recognized and well taken by pretty much all the clientele who visited Thailand. And there are a lot of repeat guests due to that Thai hospitality and the experience they had while they're in Thailand. Not only great food and things to do, but the hospitality, the way they've been looked after. One of her main focus was to implement that DNA or identity into the Dusit Thani Guam Resort, and not only from operational perspective, one of the first thing we did was that we implemented why, which is saying hello in Thailand with two hands put together. That just to show respect to not only to guests but to colleagues as well. When they give me why, I give why back, just to make sure that we have our identity built into daily way of life. So that's one of the first things we've done, starting from general manager to restaurant staff to concierge. Everyone does wine. That was one of the traditional greeting that we have implemented, and we were fortunate enough to have Devrana Spa, which is award-winning spa where we had supervisors and therapists out of Thailand, as well as we had Soy restaurant, which is very authentic Thai restaurant, which is from Dusit Bangkok. All the team members are involved in creating all the cuisines and way of service into Guam. So we plucked a little bit of Thailand and brought it into Guam, and that's what we have accomplished from operational point of view, and from commercial sales and marketing perspective. We just had to go through the right channel to sort of describe what it is that we want to accomplish. It's not all about Thai hospitality, but it's a combination of Thai and local half a day. We call it half a day spirit, but then half a day way of looking after clientele. So yes, it's very attention to detail and glamorous Thai hospitality, but a little bit of friendliness out of Guam, a way of looking after clientele. So that's what we wanted to accomplish, and starting from general manager to every single staff, that was our focus.
Oh, that's awesome. And yeah, you've created a huge selling point in merging those two things as well successfully. What were some of your proudest moments during your time at the resort?
Well, besides the opening day itself, where I almost cried, lucky I had my handkerchief ready, I think getting a buy-in from all the local team members from what we wanted to accomplish, where they were very open to, or they took really, really well, because they are the island is very much hospitality focused island, where the majority of their income will be coming in from hospitality and from overseas clientele. Though yet they're very proud of their heritage, Chamorro people, and they're wonderful people, like I said. But to accept Thai hospitality wasn't something that's in their daily life, and you know, starting from GM, from the management perspective, we were so happy and very proud to see that people have adopted what it is that we want to accomplish. And yeah, so that's something I am still proud of today.
Do you have any recollections of that opening day?
Well, I've done full opening uh, till today, and all openings are very memorable. But I guess Guam was very different in a way how all the articles, all the materials had to come from either mainland or Thailand, especially the fabrics and crockery and cutleries and whatnot, and other items out of other parts of Asia. So there's obviously delay. There was obviously a things go missing and what have you, like every other opening. But look, we have had few lot of trials after trials to make sure that we were good to go. It got delayed a little, as expected, and yeah, we had storms a couple of days prior to the opening, which didn't help the opening day to go smooth. So, look, in a way, we have had series of practices in that sense. But I guess, yeah, again, opening is something that not every hotelier get to do, and especially the team, everyone was so excited, and they were putting 150%. And yeah, I still remember the day where we after the opening, we went to backyard and high fives and hugs and high and all those. Yeah, like I did felt that the team they just formed a team, like one team sort of scenario. So that was, yeah, very proud moment.
Yeah, it's a really special time, isn't it? I've been through a couple openings myself, and it really feels like it's almost like the birth of a child, like the birth of a hotel. It's a very wonderful experience, but it's also it's one
Mm.
that's very memorable. It's something that really stands out when you look back at your career. Um, Looking back at your time at Dusit Thani Guam, how did it shape your career and indeed your leadership style?
Look, I was fortunate enough to work in places like Middle East, here in Australia, in mainland China, in Southeast Asia, in Thailand. I had the opportunity to work in Japan for a little while, but Guam was, yes, it's very Guam. Yeah, it's a U.S. territory, so there was this rules and regulation of the U.S. Wasn't very New York way of trade, but obviously there's that U.S. background there. But one thing working in all these places made me think very, it's not one size fits all, and you need to adapt it, and make sure that we need to find a way that works for the team. It's not all about me; it's all about the team that needs to bring in all these particle to be successful. So I just had to make sure that yes, I try one out. If it didn't work, then go back and think, and have that conversation with the team, and to make sure that we need to find a winning formula. So that's something where I did spend a lot of time talking to them, spending a lot of time with them to make sure that yeah, we found that winning formula. And looks like when the opening day came and when we did that high five, and I kind of felt that we found that one of the formulas.
And tell me a little bit more about the opening executive team there as well. So maybe the general manager
Mhm.
and some of the other key players that were there as well at that time.
Of course, Dean Huntsman. He's MD of the region as of now, and Dean's Australian. Australian national from Victoria, and his lovely wife is from Guam. So he's by default he was in Guam with this opening. He's worked in US, he worked in South Korea, he worked in Australia. So like myself, he was very multicultural in that sense. And when he interviewed me, I thought this he'll be a great guy to work for. Um, so yeah, so here I am. Here, there I was, signed my life away, and on my way to Guam. So he was the general manager and director of F&B. Eduardo, he's from Peru. His food and beverage background is his 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 passion towards food and beverage was just it's not something that I he was just out there. He his passion was just he wouldn't give up till he accomplished what he wanted to accomplish. And our director of ops was from U.S. mainland, as well as finance director. She's local, but she's Hong Kong national. So we had really good mixture of. We had a really multicultural team where we brought in all the goodness into making this opening really successful.
Yeah, look, you can definitely tell that, and particularly the food and beverage as well. But we'll come to that a bit later in the podcast. What do you see as the future for destinations like Guam, and how can this resort continue to thrive? It's an excellent resort. How is it going to move forward into the future?
I think the biggest one would be the infrastructure, where it's not like you can gain access by bridge or car, or there isn't enough boat to get to from Tokyo to Guam. It's all about the flights. South Korean market has taken over Japan market simply because of the airlift into Guam, and rightfully so. They are the biggest market into Guam at the moment. So keeping that infrastructure going and make sure that the wholesalers are filling those flights. And I guess in terms of receiving wise, there is beautiful hotels. After Dusit Thani, one of the Japanese funded company have opened up a new property called Tsubaki, which is also a 5-star property with a lot of Japanese hospitality elements. So yes, there's that 5-star property to look after. There's Hilton, there is Sheraton, there's Crown Plaza. So there are enough properties to look after. In order for Guam to be sustainable, it's all about flights coming in, so that would be the key drive for the success of Guam. There is enough other ingredients to make sure that the customers' satisfaction level will be up there, as well as infrastructures are there as well. There's no metro, there is no frequent buses to go up and down, but a lot of company has invested for regular bus to bring the guests from a hotel to the shopping mall to main attractions as such. So the infrastructure is definitely there, and there's enough bus companies to get people around. So I'm not too worried about the receiving end, land operation per se. But again, it's all up in the air, I guess.
Yeah, and look, it reminds me. I've been to Hawaii many times. It reminds me a lot of that Waikiki stretch in Hawaii, where if you're at a hotel there, you're really just relaxing. You've got everything at your fingertips, whether it's, jumping off into the ocean. You've got wonderful dive sites in Guam. But within the hotel, you've also got excellent food and beverage facilities. Can you tell me a little bit about the hotel's food and beverage outlets?
Of course. So Aqua restaurant is all day dining restaurant where it pretty much sticks out to the ocean. Where what? Look, I urge everyone to Google Guam. The first thing that'll pop out is just the beautiful blue ocean just outside the shoreline. This is really rare, and there's not much wave coming in because the island shoreline is protected by corals. So you only have to swim about 300 meters out of the beach, then that's your coral, and it drops down. So it's the island is again surrounded by beautiful ocean, and Aqua restaurant pretty much sticks out pretty much into the beach, where you can see as soon as you walk out to the window, you can it's just wow factor right there, and food is amazing. We used to fly a lot of chefs in from US as well as South Korea and Japan to do a lot of campaigns where they incorporate their cuisine into ours. So that was it was a really fun restaurant. It's a buffet restaurant. Alfredos, So it's like a asado style Argentinian steak restaurant or South American steak restaurant, Alfredo restaurant, beautiful restaurant, only open for dinner. Back then was only open for dinner. Soy, which means street in Thai. So there is Sukumbit Soy Lala. So soy means street. So authentic Thai food. Executive chef always got we always used to get exec chef out of Thailand and his sidekick. So the quality of food was always up there. I remember I used to sneak into a restaurant and duck my head in, and chef used to yell at, "You hungry?" And I was, "Yes, chef." And he used to whip up a really really beautiful Thai food. So yes, that holds a really good spot in my
And
heart.
look, I've listened to some reviews on the internet, YouTube in particular, where
Mhm,
they've gone to have some food at one of the outlets, Tassie Grill, which I guess you'll be coming to in a moment
mhm.
there. It was so
Yes.
popular that it was full. This is in the last couple months. It was absolutely full. But what they did offer was the Tassie Grill menu in the lobby lounge, which looks
Mm,
I mean, all the outlets look fantastic, but even the lobby lounge looked incredible.
yes. So that's one of the particle that Eduardo, our director of food and beverage protein, where the cocktail was fantastic. He handpicked the band that did the opening for us. Um, and the food that got cooked up in Tasi Grill, you obviously can dine upstairs. It's a bit of a hike. You have to go up the stairs, but Tasi Grill sticks out to the beach. You can practically on the beach, but well covered. But they serve seafood to steak. Really, really popular because all the clientele who stay in Taman Strip, uh, we call it Palisam Victoria Strip. That's the main street. Who's walking on the beach? They see Tasi Grill and people just walking because just almost like a live station. Um, Beautiful layout of the restaurant, great food. You almost don't have excuses not to walk in. And last but not least, there's a Dusit Gourmet where they have best coffee in town because I used to be a barista there when I when I had spare time or two. And the pastry chef. Not many property has pastry chef in Guam, but we are fortunate to have one. And the pastry that's coming out of that kitchen was almost like being back here in Australia.
Yeah, it's not every hotel that you get a pastry chef in. When you do, they're such a treasure and they really add to the whole atmosphere. We're going to skip across
100%.
to the accommodation now at the hotel. I know the hotel's got lots of accommodation options. Can you tell us a little bit about some of those room types?
Sure. I guess there's 421 rooms in total. Um, when we talk about ocean view, there's ocean view and there's partial ocean view. But when it comes to this property, it's an ocean view, like in your face ocean view. There's no better way to explain that. We have purposely built the hotel in an angle where a standard room on the corner, when they peek out, they can see ocean too. But I guess the fundamental is that close to 60, almost 70% of the accommodation room do have views, and the back is pantries and whatnot, and the extension of these suites. But the biggest selling point is that there is 5 villas in total. One of them being Villa Azul. It's 880 square meters in size. Now, this is bigger than many of our houses put
Yeah,
together.
that's absolutely
Um,
massive. I can't even think of any other hotel rooms that size.
Now, this 880 does include a huge balcony with almost like a deep pool, but it's 3 bedroom in size. There's a barbecue and balcony with barbecues and a lounge put together where chefs can cook his feast there for the VIPs. It was well taken by the wedding guests out of the feeder market as well as from US. So yeah, it's that it's a property secret weapon where no one else has that.
Oh, and I noticed they've also got different suites at the hotel as well. Do you remember a few of those different suite types?
Of course, we had series of suites. So there was a corner suite where it comes in 2 bedroom. There was a suite on the 30th floor. There's a beautiful club lounge on the 30th floor where I remember pre-opening, I used to take business partners up to club lounge where they obviously wanted to see what it is that their client would be experiencing. And like every other construction, we only had one elevator going, and they were lifting construction items. So I often had to take a stairs from level 1 up to the 30th, where some of our clients had high heels on, and I felt really, really awful. But once they get up to the 30th floor with ocean breeze coming in and the spectacular view out of 30th floor, and then they obviously return after the hotel's been completed, and they were able to take their elevator up to the 30th floor. And first word that came out of their mouth was "wow, wow, wow!" So we were fortunate enough to have that lounge and the suite on each side of the lounge on the corner, so they can see one end to the other. But we were very fortunate enough to have those 121 rooms, including suites and villas.
Yeah, look, it looks absolutely beautiful. Those suites look mesmerizing. Take, thank you so much for sharing your insights and experiences. The Dusit Thani Guam Resort truly sounds like a gem in the Pacific. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Peter.
The story behind the name Dusit Thani is a fascinating tale. Its Thai founder, Tan Puing Chanat Piaui, was a hotel visionary. The daughter of 2 business leaders, when she was in her 20s, she had the opportunity to visit New York and was inspired by the hotel scene. The next year, when she returned to Bangkok, Thailand, she set about opening her own hotel. In a society predominantly ruled by men, this was not a simple task. It was named The Princess, and although modest in size with only 30 rooms, it opened in 1949 with guests including Thai royalty. It was one of the first hotels in Bangkok to offer a swimming pool, an elevator and air conditioning. It was perhaps the first international hotel, and it laid the foundations for what would become the Thai tourism industry as we know it today. Her next hotel blended Thai culture with a luxurious hotel. The Dusit Thani Bangkok opened in 1969. It was the tallest building in the city and quickly became a landmark. She opened new hotels in Chiang Mai, Pattaya, and Phuket. She created the holiday destinations which are now internationally renowned. In the year 2000, the King of Thailand bestowed upon the founder the title of Tan Puing, which is the equivalent of Dame, reflecting her invaluable contributions to the nation's hospitality industry. Although the founder passed away a few years ago, just a few days short of her 98th birthday, she left an iconic legacy of hotels radiating from Thailand and stretching halfway around the world. To the north, these include hotels in Bhutan and China. To the south, you'll find Dusit hotels in Singapore and Indonesia. To the west, hotels are in Dubai and the Maldives. And in the east, you'll find hotels in Vietnam and the Philippines. But the most easterly hotel, the first hotel in the group to see the sunlight each day, is located on a Pacific island, and it is in fact the Dusit Thani Guam Resort. Today, her son, Mr. Chanan Donavanik, is the chairman of Dusit International. The name Dusit Thani, meaning town in heaven, reflects the harmony between Thai and Western values, a core principle that still defines Dusit as a global hospitality leader. Hollywood A-listers like Tobey Maguire and Leonardo DiCaprio have stayed in Guam, and the hotel has hosted celebrity fashion shows for charity. The resort has received numerous awards over the last decade. These include TripAdvisor Awards, Traveller's Choice Awards for each of the past 8 years. Many awards for the spa and the restaurants, Agoda, Hotels.com and Booking.com awards for consistently high guest reviews, Rakuten, Travel Awards, many local awards, and World Traveller Awards, including Guam's leading resort for 3 out of the last 6 years. The background images and video are courtesy of the resort with the link in the description. I also want to say a big thank you to Takehiro Ito for being our guest. Hopefully this was the first of many appearances. If you've already travelled to Guam, I hope that this podcast brought back some wonderful memories. If you haven't yet travelled to Guam, I hope this podcast inspired you to make the journey to this wonderful resort in the heart of the Pacific. Thank you for joining today's episode. I hope you were inspired, amazed, and enlightened as we unlocked the secrets of the hotel industry's most iconic leaders and iconic hotels. If you had a wonderful time, the best way to say thank you is to follow our podcast so that you never miss our monthly episodes. If you love showers and luxury hotels, please check out our tech startup at showeraway.com, where we hope one day to provide people on day trips access to the very best hotel showers in the world. Farewell, until the next time you check in to the Hotel Leaders